Continuation of Chapter 4, Abraxas. For more viral, visit www.heyHabbo.net/viral. The two boys raced once more to find an answer to the next question, working in perfect cooperation as they made sure no second was wasted, and before they knew it, they were teleported to three levers facing the last bright yellow door. After a few attempts at figuring out the right combination, the blue neon door at the start of the room opened, and in came Rage and Mr. Flicker. Wow, you guys made it that far already?
You best believe it.
Alright, I think I got it. Presto had finally placed the right combination for the levers. At once, the bright yellow neon gate finally opened, revealing a dark, narrow path, unlike the ones they had seen in previous rooms.
Finally, I knew we would get there first.
Good job, guys. I guess you guys win after all. But Presto didn't go inside for a reason he could not explain. He sensed that whatever was waiting in there for them in the next room wouldn't be what they had been hoping for all this time. Everything suddenly turned quiet, perhaps too quiet and beyond his intuition. The place seemed too unguarded, suddenly giving the impression of a diversion more than anything else. Whatever came next, he no longer felt like he wanted to find out after all.
Well, what are you waiting for? It's finally open.
We should go back.
What?
I have a bad feeling about this.
Dude, we'll be heroes if we bring Benji back, and Jesse will reward us with like a kajillion pixels. Let's go.
Sokka moved Presto out of the way and rushed to enter the room, shooting a quick glance behind him, hoping Rage and Mr. Flicker hadn't figured out the answer to get to their side of the room yet. Presto sighed and hesitantly followed Sokka inside of the bright gate. They walked in the darkness of the long narrow path for a short while, and then they saw it. The bright yellow light of the same T-shaped gate as the ones at the end of the previous rooms.
Let me guess, another pop-up question?
Asked Sokka, rather infuriated as he stepped in front of the gate. But the dangerously electric sound of the gate indicated that the yellow neon crates were about to change position, this time without the need for a password.
I guess not.
A crate to the left, another to the right, and all the others followed in opposite directions, decomposing the bright gate, revealing the final room. Presto and Sokka slowly entered a room much like the others, but it was brighter. A fluorescent neon blue floor illuminated the room much like the first room. On the right side was a larger-than-ever blue neon gate sealed by red lasers discharged from the ground. It was either a blocked path or some kind of futuristic-looking cell. Presto and Sokka stared at the large gate for a moment as they had never seen anything like it, and they noticed the bright set of floating energy balls on the left side of the room hovering over a platform of illuminated red and white tiles.
Okay, that's random.
Said Sokka, confused.
So I guess Benji's inside that cell and, those balls turn off the lasers?
I don't think so, replied Presto absently without removing his gaze from the hypnotic energy balls.
You're finally here.
Interrupted a hollow voice from behind the bright floating balls. Sokka moved back at once, petrified as he was taken off guard, but Presto stood his ground. He had noticed a dark outline of someone behind the floating energy balls and was prepared to face the hidden foe. Who are you? Asked Presto, attempting to hide his fear. Slowly, a hooded figure came from behind the bright energy balls, pacing towards Presto and Sokka. His face was mostly hidden by the long hood of his cloak, and as he approached the newcomers, a trace of bright yellow neon could be spotted on the front of his clothes.
You're right on time.
He whispered menacingly, and a malicious grin slowly appeared on what could be seen of his face.
The data drainers are ready.
Where's Benji?
Demanded Sokka, suddenly taking one heroic step towards the hooded figure.
Benji? You will never see him again. The Master. He has purposes for all of us, even for you.
What are you talking about?
Asked Sokka, losing patience.
Why don't you let me show you?
He replied as he slowly lifted his hand to lift the back of his hood from his head. At first, only white bright eyes could be seen, hiding the obscure face, and then after a moment, Presto and Sokka finally recognized the foe standing before them. They immediately stepped back in shock.
ND.
ND, Nad, Nadani, is but a shadow of the past. My name is Abraxas.
the foe replied with much content.
What are you playing at?
I don't think he's playing around, Alex.
He's one of heyHabbo's administrators. He can't be Abraxas. Andy, where's Benji?
I told you my name is Abraxas.
Maybe someone stole his password, whispered Presto to Sokka, quite terrified.
Alright, Abraxas. I don't know who you are or what you're playing at, but give us Benji back now.
Demanded Sokka, considering the possibility that Andy's account may have been compromised.
You will learn your place, young user. It is your talent. Your knowledge will be an excellent addition to my master.
Abraxas suddenly turned towards the lasers in front of a large blue gate and instantly placed both hands on the two lasers blocking the way. The lasers flickered like dying lights, and moments later they were no more. Abraxas sharply glanced at the floating energy balls behind him and then towards the intruders of his lair.
They're ready. So long, users.
Unexpectedly, all the energy balls began to glow fiercely and brighter than ever, almost completely blinding Presto and Sokka. In a matter of seconds, the room had turned nearly white from the intense light, emitting an electrical, high-pitched sound, gradually buzzing louder and louder. It was unbearable. Abraxas smirked maliciously and rapidly waved at his distracted guests before disappearing inside the now open blue neon gate. It took a moment for Presto and Sokka to realize that Abraxas had left them to a terrible fate, as their complete attention was directed at the dangerously glowing bright energy balls that very much looked like they were about to explode. Sokka, let's get out of here!
We can't. The door is shut behind us. I can't open it. Damn it.
The room continued to glow, now brighter than ever, and the two boys felt hopelessly trapped inside. There was no time left, and panic had completely settled in. Then Sokka remembered that there was another way out. The intense brightness had momentarily distracted them from noticing the now open gate Abraxas had just used to make his escape.
That way,
announced Sokka, rushing towards it, but he was instantly held back by Presto.
What are you doing? Let go.
Sokka, wait, the door is opening again! The yellow neon crates forming the door behind them suddenly moved in all directions, opening the gate just as it had previously closed, revealing Rage and Mr. Flicker right behind. They had finally figured out the right combination to the last room just in time, as Sokka and Presto would have never made it into time across the room to the blue neon gate Abraxas had used to make his escape.
Don't come in. Get back. Get back. This place is gonna blow.
What? Hurry up, get back in! The room suddenly turned completely white, and the electric buzzing went high-pitched. No other sound could be made in the complete mess. Presto and Sokka pushed the newcomers back in the tall yellow neon gate immediately shut, and the neon gate immediately shut behind them. Boom! A loud and heavy sound, much like an overly electric sonic boom, erupted from the room they had just narrowly escaped. What was all that about? I don't know, Presto said, confused.
Abraxas.
What? You saw him? Sokka stood up and turned back towards the room they had just escaped. Sokka, what are you doing? But Sokka ignored him. He stepped in front of the neon gate and it opened once more, revealing the room they had left moments ago. As expected, the white energy balls had completely disappeared and the red and blue tiles glowed no more. But for some reason, the rest of the room was in perfect condition, as if nothing had ever happened. Sokka slowly walked to the center of the room where Abraxas had previously stood, and stared out at the dark tiles beneath where the floating energy balls hovered for a moment earlier.
We know exactly who our enemy is.
Alex, what happened here? But Sokka ignored him too. He slowly paced towards the now open neon gate Abraxas had used to escape, and realized that the enemy of the form, the one that was now controlling Andy's heyHabbo, had escaped through the gate standing before him. He tightly clenched his hands into fists. Sokka? Sokka slowly looked towards Presto, only to realize that Tizzle had finally made it to the last room, followed by many other four members that had entered the quest after them. Everyone stared at Presto and Sokka, waiting for an explanation as they talked amongst themselves. Sokka inhaled deeply and prepared to give the speech of his lifetime. He felt his heart pound in his chest as the adrenaline coursed through his veins. He knew that he wasn't exactly loved by everyone in the room, but he knew that deep down he was a born leader. He raised his voice.
We know exactly who our enemy is.
Sokka boomed over the other forum members.
Let's go show him what we're made of.
Sokka charged to the bright neon gate as the rest of the forum rushed forward, following the echoes of their leader's footsteps. End Chapter 4, Abraxas. For more viral, visit heyHabbo.net/viral.